So yeah, there's my Xbox One game. No more freaking drift on the controller. Hey guys, welcome back to Justin Nelson's Projects. Today we're gonna fix an Xbox One controller where one of the sticks really drifts at the 0 center point. Now the best way to really capture what's going on with this is with an ESP32. So we're gonna plug this in first to an ESP32. This is a little robot project, or more of an RC car project that I use to test the Xbox controller. So now that it's connected, let's get the serial monitor. I'm gonna hold down the button and it should pair up. When it does, it'll do a little vibrate. That's just something I programmed it to do. And there we go. And as you can see on the screen, it is showing the axes. So if I move the left and right, or the left joystick around, it moves a little robot around. And of course it did it enough to where the serial port disconnected again. All right, so I had to reconnect it because when I moved the little guy around, this cable kind of wiggled. But you can see the numbers on the screen there. This right joystick, when I go up, I get minus 512 on the y-axis and 511 all the way down. Left and right, seems all fine, except when you go center and let go. What's with that creeping up there? That's not right. And I've already taken this apart, cleaned everything with contact cleaner. And as you know, the left one works perfectly fine. And I'd rather control the RC car with this left button here. But again, if I let go of it, move it around, you know, like I said, as long as I'm moving it, it's fine. But as soon as I let go, it doesn't always do it. But imagine you're trying to play a video game of any kind. This is not acceptable results. So we bought this little kit here. This is a kit, links in the description below to everything I use here today. This is a full kit, came with the screwdrivers, some kind of little spudger looking thing, but we're gonna use this one, a proper spudger. Again, links in the description. I haven't even opened this yet. We're gonna go ahead and get started on the repair process. I've been sitting on this for months. I just haven't had the opportunity to explore this. Now, the part in question, of course, is going to be these guys, or at least one of them. As I said, I'm probably not gonna do both of them, just the one that's giving me trouble here. And it looks like there are a lot of little pins that are gonna need to solder on there, so let's see if we can get a good tight focus on that. Yeah, it's a lot of little pins. As I said, I've had this apart before, but I haven't actually attempted to do anything other than cleaning the contacts with contact cleaner. That did not work. So if I can get the battery cover off here. These are, by the way, are really awesome. I'll link these below as well. Rechargeable. Instead of sitting there sticking double A's left and right. Nice little rechargeable pack. They come in a 2-pack. At least the ones I ordered. But yeah, you can see the witness marks that I've had this apart before. Handy as hell that it came with this. Yes, they do hide a screw underneath that, by the way. Yeah, there's a little screw hidden underneath there that you'll just need to either pierce through or peel off, whatever your preference. Now you've got to use a spudger to get these side pieces off. I've done this enough times to where I kind of got the hang of it. Don't use a knife, use something like a proper spudger. Maybe even the little guy that came with it, I don't know. That might actually work. Might as well try it out. It came with the kit, and there we go. It went flying, but once you get the two sides off, you see there's screws in there. So what we're doing is we're starting here in the corner by your trigger buttons, or your throttle button, whatever the heck that button is. You just work it loose. Once it's a little bit loose, it comes right off, and it doesn't need to go flying as long as you hold on to it. Now there's going to be 4 more of these hex screws. The reason I like this kit is it came with the drivers. I've got the drivers, but this just makes it a lot easier. And if you try this with a bit handle, you'll find that the bit doesn't want to go quite into these back holes. You can get it, it's just really, really tricky, okay? Oh wow, it's actually magnetic. I'm kind of surprised. So there's that, and there's the final one, and there we go. So we'll set those to the side. They are all the same screw, I'm pretty sure. So now the front piece comes off. These are replaceable. They make some pretty cool ones, I think, but we're sticking with this for now. Now you got all these little motors that are for your vibration, your shocks and things. There's 2 here, and I believe there's 2 back here as well. But now this whole thing lifts out of the bottom case, bottom part of the case. And we're gonna flip it over. So this is what we're looking for. We're gonna pull that off. And you'll note that the kit came with new ones, as well as some rubber grippy things you can put on them. I may do that, but for now, you've got to watch that these shock motors, you don't break the wires off in the process here. But they are going to need to kind of go out of the way. Yeah, see, the reason I say, oh, you know what? The right hand joystick is actually mounted on this board. For some reason I was thinking the harder one. Oh, they're both on this board. This board is just for these buttons, I suppose. Okay. Learn something every day. So this tiny screwdriver, I'm assuming, fits. Ah, look at that. Now this, I have not had it this far apart yet. I'm just going to set them right there. What the heck? There's only 2 so far. Yeah, I haven't taken any of this apart yet. I've only sprayed contact cleaner in there. You'll know there's an antenna wire here with a connector. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to use the little spudger looking thing to carefully disconnect that. And I don't know what the next step is. It looks like it connects to... Oh, okay, is that really it? I'm trying not to remove anything I don't need to. This should be far enough. This is the guy we want to take out and replace. So we've got it this far apart now. I'm trying to leave these motors in place because I don't want them pulling on these wires or anything. So we're going to do the surgery kind of in this position right here. Looks like the only pins that actually connect to the main board are right here. I don't know what this is about. So the soldering iron is hot. Now this is where generally, okay, I'm going to move this particular motor a little bit out of the way. Generally what I like to do in these situations is take some good old-fashioned leaded solder. And you can't really read that, but yeah, Radio Shack. How do you like that? Basically, flood all of the pads for this connector. We're going to flood this with solder. So first, and yes, I'm creating solder bridges. That's sort of the idea, actually. First, we're going to do this. Just load up all the pads involved with solder. Now I need to carefully pry this piece by piece, side by side. I am burning my fingers just a little bit, but I've been doing this for a lot of years, so it doesn't really bother me. But just note, if you just start grabbing the sides of this thing, there are contacts that are going to get hot. Yeah, my thumb is yikes, because this outer metal case is getting hot as part of this. Come on. I'm hearing it. I'm feeling it. It's starting to work its way out. We're almost there. Okay. Go ahead and get that excess off. And this side. And I think, wish you could see the bottom of this as well. You could reposition the camera, I suppose, but let's see what, almost there. Almost there. Ow, it's getting really hot. Granted, I could just break the old one into pieces because it is being replaced, but I prefer to remove it non-destructively. And there we are. So there's the old one. It's nicely stuck in the hole there, but there's the old one. What's wrong with it? Well, basically the little potentiometer in here gets worn down to a point where it just isn't making contact as well. Once you start moving it around, it seems to be fine, but then when you get to the middle, it's just got a dead spot there. I will have to figure out where this went. This is the headphone jack. I think it just makes contact down here. I'll figure out the reassembly after I get this on there. So the next step is to get the soldering wick and clean these holes as best I can. So we're gonna pause and come back with some desoldering wick because I forgot to bring it with me. Okay, so I've got my desoldering wick, and this stuff is, come on, focus. Anyway, this stuff's pretty useful. It's more useful if you can coat it in some soldering flux or paste. Unfortunately, I can't find mine, and I'm not going to spend an hour digging for it, so let's see if it'll work without it. So just holding the board up, make sure the iron is nice and clean, and we're going to simply try and wick away. Yeah, it's not even wanting to absorb it. Yeah, I definitely need flux for this to work. Yeah, oh wait, I got a hole there. Okay, that's all we're really concerned about. Not really concerned too much about excess. You can use a suction tool if you've got one at your disposal. Ah, that's better. I don't know how well you can see that, but two of them are in fact very much clear. So, continuing on, just going to work our way around and try and get each of these holes to show themselves. The idea being we don't have to heat it to insert it. So get these all cleaned up. I'll speed through this. And you can see it is actually picking the solder up. It's just not absorbing through the wick. But it is picking it up. Just takes a little time and patience. And for the soldering iron to stay on. One of these days we're going to take that Ryobi apart and get rid of that damn 10-minute timeout. It does it whether you're on battery or plugged in. It doesn't care if you're moving the thing around. Yeah, we're going to fix that one of these days. But today, I believe there's 3 pins here, 3 holes here. So we can get all that solder we gooked on there off of there. And that's another reason, by the way, we use the leaded solder. It's got a lower melting point than the lead-free crap. And also, so once it mixes with the existing solder, you've got overall a lower melting point. If I could find my snips, I know where they are, they're just not right here. And I'll just let that hang off the edge. Okay, so at this point, all the holes are pretty much exposed. Actually, I see one or two. These two I might need to open up a little bit more. I don't know if you'll get a good close-up or if you will, but all the holes are exposed. So if we take one of our brand new little guys here and attempt to insert it onto the board, we can get it the right way around here. Yeah, it's got to go this way, except that doesn't work. Does the left and right matter? Oh, it does. Wait, they're both doing the same thing. Oh, I see the problem. See that little switch there? That's part of it. Because look at the one I took off. Yeah, that part. Aha! There's a little more I needed to take off there. Yeah, I missed some of it. It broke in half. What I was trying not to do was break it in order to get it out of there. But, well, again, it's the old one. So with that off, this should just practically fall out. Yep, there we go. Okay. Now, I guess I should open those holes up a little bit. They're right next to this Kapton tape. There's one more right there. Can we get it exposed? Now, I don't know how good these knockoff control sticks are, but we're gonna find out. So there we go. Now we've got the whole thing. I think I closed up one of the other holes in the process there, by the way. All right, We're almost all the way flush here. Actually, it looks like we've got all of our, yeah, we are flat against that board all the way around. Amazingly. Let me just heat, come on. Heat these corners up. Just make sure we're all the way poking through. I think we're good. So at this point, I just need some solder. Get a couple of anchor points here. This is where 3 hands would be nice. But okay, there's 1 anchor point. And let's get this over in this corner. And there we go. So we've got, I'm going to push down now. I'm squeezing it against the board. Now basically just give each pad a little bit of solder, not a lot, just enough to make contact. And don't forget about these 2 little points under the Captain tape. Remember, there's a lot of surface mount stuff on here too, so be very careful you don't short anything else. And I'm going to call that a successful replacement. That's all in there, and now I hear it clicking. So next step, let's get that antenna wire out of the way. Next step really is put it back together and hope for the best, to be honest. So being careful. Hang on, we're missing a piece here. That headphone looking thing, where was that? This hole here. Aha! If you can see the contact pads here, they apparently make contact with this guy that just sits in here. And that is, I think, is for headphones. I'm not really sure. Not that much of a gamer, if I'm being honest. But I do love fixing stuff. So we've replaced that. Now we got this in place. I'm assuming, oh, I can see it from here through the Captain tape that little board connector has made contact. Oh, those pins I was showing earlier, I thought they were supposed to connect to the board. That actually connects to the battery pack. Okay. Very carefully get this antenna wire back on its, on its little connector. Where were these guys? They were way back here, kind of under the motors, right? What did I say earlier? Don't let one of the wires break on one of these motors. Now here's the fun part. Where the hell was it? Oh, I can kind of see where I think it went. This would be the black that goes right there. Extra solder on that. Just a little. Again, it's all surface mount. Everything's really close. Never blow on it, just hold on to it and let it set up on its own. So that is for this motor, and this motor mounted like this. And these other wires go to the front motor. There's 4 total shock motors in this sucker. These go on first. See why I didn't put all the screws in? Now we're going to put the sticks back on. Come on. Okay, there's one and the other. Now you'll notice there's a shape to it. You'll want to line that up. There we are. Now we can put the front cover on and then the back cover. Again, making sure these wires are tucked in. Oh, you know what? I missed the battery wires, or battery terminals there. Once again, they need to be lined up on this side of that. There we go. That feels about right. So, in order to test this again, we are going to, without putting it all the way together, can I put a battery in it? I sure can. Okay, that's good. So, we're going to try this without putting it all the way together just yet. And we're going to see if we get different results here. So there we go. You can see it on the screen, hopefully. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it's better than it was. Quick demo, I've got all 4 screws back in, and these are what you really want to watch out for, are these wires here before you go snap the ends back on. So I'm just shoving them up and out of the way. Is that the correct side? It is. No, it is not. Okay, there we go. And basically just a little bit of force, that's it. Doesn't take much force. Takes a lot less force to put them on than taking them off. But you just snap that on there, and just to double, triple check everything now, we're gonna take a rechargeable battery, pop it in. It's trying to connect to something. That's all I needed to know, really. Because now we're gonna move some stuff around and connect the Xbox. Okay, so just to show that I'm a little bit of an idiot, I have an Xbox 360. I don't own an Xbox One. I got this controller at the Goodwill store, and now I know why, specifically for my electronics projects. The 360 is not Bluetooth, this is. I guess the best test would be put the robot, little RC thing, little toy project I've been experimenting with on the right joystick. So let me make a couple code changes and be right back. Okay, so this thing will not hold a battery charge, but on the bright side, we can also monitor the serial port at the same time. I'm going to turn this guy on. Now that it's fully assembled, it's going to vibrate, let me know it's connected, and now the right joystick, that is the desired effect. Problem is that caster doesn't really, there we go. So yeah, there's my Xbox One game. And no more freaking drift on the controller. So there you go. That's how you fix a Xbox One Bluetooth enabled controller, replacing the stick there. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Meanwhile, check out whatever is on your screen at the moment, and I'll see you next time.